Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, seekers and pilgrims. Welcome to this. This is the very first broadcast of the Nectan Dialogues. Now, we're going to be producing these every now and again from my home here, and we're going to be talking about Nectan, about Nectan's Glen, about the work that goes on there, about the spirituality of the place. So for all those of you who know and love it, we hope that it'll give you perhaps a new way of looking at it, or perhaps an insight into what makes it so special. Now, we're not in a studio. This is actually being broadcast from my home. If you hear noises, well, I'm sorry, but they're noises. We're not going to be editing. What you hear is as it happens. Now, I'm delighted for this first broadcast to actually have a very old dear friend with me who's travelled all the way from the Netherlands to take part in this, a gentleman called Oscar Kraus. Good morning, Oscar.
Good morning.
And I know that he and his lady wife use the Glen on numerous occasions for special workshops that they do, working with people, both male and female, in spiritual growth and development. Now, for those of you who are listening for the first time, you might not have been to Nectan's Glen yet. Just to quickly tell you, it's situated just outside Tintagel in North Cornwall, at a little village called Tintagel. You can't really drive up there. There is a car park by the side of the road, and then you walk. And you've got two ways of doing it. One is up the main track, another is by the side of the stream. So you can take your choice. You pays your money, as they say, and you takes your choice. Once there, you are greeted with something that is very special and very magical, and that is Nectan's Glen itself. The waterfalls are really inspiring. That's probably the only way I can describe them. It is what's known as a keeve, which is a double waterfall with the bowl underneath. Stunning location, and a place that many people find, how can I put it, a spiritual, if not a fulfillment, a guide towards that fulfillment. So now, Oscar, what first brought you to Nectan's Glen?
It was Margot, my wife, and it was, I think, 14 years ago. And it was in the year that we just met, and she took me on a journey through England to her favorite places that she often visits and used in her travels and her work. And we still didn't have a relationship back then, but she took me to all those places. And the Saint Nectan's Glen was definitely one of those. And so yeah, she took me there, and I was properly enchanted by the place when we got there.
What first struck you about the Glen?
It was the forest in the walk towards the waterfall, and it was this real proper fairy forest with the stream through it, and I loved it already. It was way before we got to the waterfall.
It's strange, isn't it, that forests and woodland, they can tend to conjure up these feelings of, if you like, fairy groves and otherworldly places. When it comes to, say, the forest area of Nectan's Glen, when you're walking through that wooded area to get to the waterfalls at Nectan's, what was the feeling that you experienced then?
I felt it was really a special place I was walking into. I associated it with the Ardennes, which I love, which has a lot of very green woodland and streams and rivers. And this reminded me of it. and I just felt this is not just one beautiful forest, but there's more to it. Yeah.
I have to agree with you. The Ardennes is a beautiful region. I like it, but then I like the pâté. But perhaps not quite so spiritual, but it's important to me. Lots of people have said that when they're walking by the river through the wooded area, it's almost like they're in a procession, and the end of it is achieving your vision of the waterfall. How did you feel about that?
It didn't feel like I was in a procession, but I felt very happy to just be in that place of beauty, of earthly and beyond beauty.
Yes, it is pretty spectacular. I've got to say, can I ask your feelings the first time you saw the actual falls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a long time ago, 14 years, like I said, but I was deeply impressed by it because it's absolutely beautiful. And Margot was going in, and I was like, this feels very cold. Do I have to? Of course, I went in. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's strange how waterfalls hold such a, how can I put it, a sort of a magical resonance with so many people. Water, I always think, is a very strange medium because it's the one that we need to live, but of course we can't live in it, which is very strange because obviously when you're being carried by your mother, you're actually living in this liquid world before you're thrust out into the world that's waiting for you. But yeah, water appears to be that medium that is essential to us, but that try as we might, you don't really conquer it. You just have to acknowledge that it is there and is a tremendous force within our lives. Have you been to any of the other sites where water plays such an important part?
Definitely. Yes, I've been also in Glastonbury a lot, and that place is characterized by a lot of springs that are there. Most significantly, the White Spring, the sacred water temple, I would describe it. And the magical qualities of water are abundant there.
I noticed you mentioned the White Spring in Glastonbury. Do you feel personally that the White Spring holds more for you than the Chalice Well, which is next door, the Red Spring?
I love them both.
Yeah. But
the White Spring is really encapsulated in this underground temple building with candles lit. It all has this really, really magical atmosphere, and every now and then for our journeys we hire it, so we have private access and we won't be distracted by all the other people and pilgrims that are there. So that makes it even more special, and the acoustics and everything makes it even more intense. Because
I remember, of course, many years ago when it was a tea room. It had a little stream running through the middle of it, and that was a great joy, enjoying your tea and cakes with this little rivulet running through the building. Obviously, I think a lot of people will know the Chalice Well Gardens, the Red Spring. There are so many legends associated with that, of course. I mean, as you will know, Oscar, a lot of the Grail legends are associated with the Chalice Well Gardens in Glastonbury. Again, for those of you that might not know it, Glastonbury is in North Somerset, and I will say I'm biased because I lived there when I was little. A truly magical place. There's no two ways about it. Do you find that you are sometimes affected by your preconceived idea of what might be waiting for you when you go to a site like this? Do you find that you are excited before you get there with what might be waiting for you? Or do you approach it in a purely, how can I put it, like a stoic level, if you like?
Yeah, I'd like to go in without expectations, without mental expectations. Sometimes there is something in my body going on, so some sort of resistance, and that maybe that sometimes signifies that there is a transformation coming on, because these are places where magic things happen and where things can change, and so that sometimes is the case, that I feel something in my body, but I try to go in without all the conceptions, without all the thoughts and expectations.
Yes, that is interesting actually, because I think so many of us, we can have a preconception before we actually arrive at a place. Sometimes that isn't too healthy.
No.
There used to be a wonderful waterfall just outside a little village called Paulton, again in Somerset, near Midsummer Norton. And it was a wonderful glen. It was known as the Fairy Glen. They're always called Fairy Glens and Fairy Woods, aren't they? And this had a wonderful waterfall. In fact, it was used some years ago. It was used in the filming of the Robin Hood television series. And it was a spectacular place. I used to enjoy going there for picnics. And then, lo and behold, a few years later, the whole area just became, well, it was spoiled. Areas of it were bulldozed. The waterfall had virtually dried up. It had been completely, utterly destroyed. And that was heartbreaking, especially when I was looking forward to going back there, to experiencing what I'd had before. Then all of a sudden, there is this incredible disappointment when you see basically what humans have done in destroying this beautiful natural spot. I mean, thank heavens, there's a tremendous team in action at Nectan's Glen to make sure this doesn't happen there, of course, because it is a place of outstanding natural beauty. Are you able to spend much time in the areas around the falls, where they've been doing a lot of the replanting up there? And as you know, they're doing a lot of conservation work at the Glen as well.
Yeah, we walked into it a bit out of curiosity this summer, but we didn't spend a lot of time over there. But I saw there were a lot of projects going on. A nice building was constructed. So there was all sorts of projects going on, and some of them must have been quite wholesome.
They've got the tea rooms, as you know, which is a lovely space. But I think you've been able to use the retreat house, haven't you?
Margot has.
Margot has. You've not been able to use it yet.
No.
How is Margot finding the retreat house? Because it is a lovely spot.
Oh, she loves it so much that she actually said, next year we're going to organize a journey together, men and women, not really rated to men, just a mixed travel. And so then you can be in the retreat rooms too. So she loved it so much.
Yeah. I've got to say, it is a wonderful space. You do find some spaces you go to, as soon as you walk in, you know that there's, how can I put it, you're in the right place. A feeling comes over you, and you know, yes, I think I'm meant to be here. It's. Do you find that when you attend at Nectan's?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I think so many people, a lot of people, I think they look at it as sort of a tourist attraction, and there's nothing wrong with it, because it is a tourist attraction. But of course, it is far more than that. And I think it's. But luckily, there are more and more people now opening their eyes to the fact that even with a tourist attraction, there is not only a spiritual aspect, but also looking at the work that is being done on an ecological level there. As I say, they're looking after the creatures and the plants and the trees. I was particularly impressed with the replanting that's been going on. And it's always fun to see the bug hotel.
Yes.
I mean, how many, and I'm going to ask you this, there are so many sites that are available to people who are, if you like, seeking a spiritual path that they find they can't get from the normal avenues. Are there other places that you use within Britain or within Europe that also give you this feeling of a spiritual oneness?
Yes, I love to use places in nature for that. In Glastonbury, in England, in the UK, when I take people there, it's usually places in and around Glastonbury, like the Glastonbury Tor, which is a significant one, and some of the springs that are there as well. And we used also to go to the ancient oaks, like Gog and Magog, that are there in Glastonbury.
Ah, but you're Dutch, aren't you supposed to say hock'em-a-hock?
I could, but we don't. Yes, and in the Netherlands there are beautiful places as well, just in nature. Just going into the forest, we have some forests, not much, but some of them, and just good to be away from places where there's a lot of humans.
Mm.
And some of the places there's specific hills on which you can definitely sense like here's a place of power, here's a different atmosphere, here's something otherworldly going on.
Mm. I always think sometimes a place of power doesn't necessarily mean that you're connecting spiritually. I mean, for instance, in Germany, the Extenstein, that isn't a place to feel comfortable. I always find it is, you can acknowledge it as an extremely powerful centre, but I don't know whether I ever feel comfortable when visiting the Extenstein, not like I do when I'm in the Chalice Well at Glastonbury, or Nectan's Glen, which are, to me, very conducive to a comfortable spiritual feeling. It's almost like the top of Glastonbury Tor. I don't always feel peaceful there. And I wonder if that might be because of the legends of it being the gateway to the other world, to Gwyn ap Nudd's realm, his kingdom under the earth. But how do you sort of tackle your feelings when you are in a space that is a spiritual place, certainly, but not necessarily one of comfort, but one of power, strength, one that you hold in awe, but you don't necessarily feel peaceful and content there?
Yeah, but places of power, they don't need to be like with having to do with spirituality, with your eyes closed and saying Om. It can be very, very intense and physical in the work that I do, Margot does with the women. We use a lot of physicality, we use a lot of expression, especially places that are challenging, like the Glastonbury Tor at times, or the Extenstein. They can actually empower all this expression, like the Glastonbury Tor is a very good example. Every now and then we do a dragon ceremony, which is like the most wild thing that we can come up with. It involves a lot of screaming and drumming and loudness.
Yes, I've been to the Feyenoord Stadium on match days as well.
Some people get buried there. So it's a place of power to them. Well, not buried, they're ashes,
Oh, that's grand. Well, I think we're going to wind this up now. We've been having a lovely chat. I want to thank you, Oscar, for taking the time to have a little chat with me about your feelings on the Glen. Next time, I'm going to be talking about the possibility of who Nectan was. Do we know anything about the person? And I sincerely hope that if any of you are going to be tuning in and listening, that you'll get some enjoyment out of it. In fact, I'm sure you will. So, Oscar, if you'd like to say goodbye.
The honour is mine. Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from Uncle Roly. Take great care now, and I shall be on again before you know it. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.